Welcome to the Seasons of Singleness podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Tiffany Sneebros. Seasons of Singleness. Seasons of Singleness. And boom, just like that, we are back for episode 2 of SOS the Pod. Uncensored. It's your girl Tiff here. Y'all ready to hop back into this conversation? So, boom, we left off where I was talking about, I done went and found this man. Like, no, that's not what we was talking about. So, boom, as I stated, like, yeah, I'm just gonna go out and get, like, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna look for it, like, cause I deserve the amount of love and affection that I give out to people. I definitely deserve that back, like reciprocity. Okay, but even if that, I deserve like little scrappy mama.
I deserve to be. I deserve. I deserve to be loved.
Cause I do. But in my deserving, as I am finding, trying to find that person, right? Like I found that person, and I was ecstatic. I do also want to let you all know that I don't know how to say words. Like I be knowing words because I used to read the thesaurus as a kid, but yeah, I don't know how to pronounce them, and I'm okay with that. You got to be okay with that too. But anyways, yeah. So like I found this person, and it was very random. Like we used to be with my friends and I told you about the summer program that I did to start my college career, and it was a co-ed experience, so naturally, a group of good-looking young women naturally is going to meet a group of good-looking young men, and vice versa. So we kind of like hung with that particular group for a long time, especially throughout the summer. And then they kind of like went, again, everybody moved on campus. So it's not just what we're used to, it's like everybody. And they were a part of a popular frat. And we had went to one of their like off campus parties, whatever, whatever. And I see this guy pull up. And in my mind, I was like, he looks familiar, but I don't really know who he is. And yeah, I kind of left it alone, but I didn't say anything, like it was literally like a quick pull up moment. It wasn't like a time for you to like really introduce yourself or anything like that anyway. So we pull up to the same location, whatever, whatever. And yeah, like I'm looking and I was like, yo, I used to have a crush on him in high school. And of course, his line brother makes it very well known in the midst of this group. And that kind of triggered or sparked like a conversation between the both of us and the whole entire night. Like everybody kind of has, when you link up with your friends or whatever, like, and you like, oh yeah, we got some girls or we got some guys coming through. Like, you already know like what's about to happen. So, well, not what's about to happen, but you just got to entertain people, I should say. Not necessarily. I'm not saying, to go take one for the team. That is not what I'm saying. That's not what you got from this conversation because that's not what I said. I'm saying typically you got to entertain some folks. So entertain. You grown. If you want to fuck, fuck. But that's not what I was given. But anyway, long story short, we start talking, whatever, whatever. He must have been on that type of time. I don't know what the fuck was said that night, like, oh, maybe they hot and ready like Little Caesars.
Who had been saying that? Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
But I was not, baby. I had to fake like I had to throw up and shit, but just to get the fuck out the house. Like, it's like this nigga is trying to get me. But anyway, like, I wound up losing my phone that night. I don't know if I left it in my friend's car. I forget like where I left it actually, but I know once I got it, I got a text message from him, and we just started talking from there. And again, just reminding myself like I don't like want to jeopardize or have time go past and not really get what I want out of us kind of growing in something. So it was like, I'm going to go for what the fuck I want. I'm going to ask. I'm going to be vocal. I remember asking him after like a while of talking, like our first date, we went to, first of all, this nigga, and I know he'll probably watch this. But this nigga swore he was so baller. Like, don't take me to the outlets talk about when you want anything from the polo store, sir. And then take me to Popeyes. Come on, like, come on, bro. Like, stop, stop. It was crazy because his car wound up breaking down. So we just kind of really got to know each other in a short amount of time, or a long amount of time, I should say. We just enjoyed each other's conversation, yada yada yada. Things kind of grew from there. Each and every day, like we kind of spent a lot of time together. I remember one time we sat in the car, like in the middle of, not in the middle of the street, like Coppin has this thing that we call a circle. It's like a half circle. Kind of, it's giving like cul-de-sac vibes, honestly. Cul-de-sac. I say that. Oh, y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. But anyway, it's giving that. And you kind of like go around, whatever, whatever. So we sat in a circle all night, like literally all night long. Like we sat in a circle. We was talking about everything, listening to music, talking about best relationships and like the things that we wanted and yada yada yada. We literally stayed in that circle all night until about like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Which was crazy. And we are just getting to know one another, enjoying each other's company without the pressures or anything of like sexual activity. And yeah, like shit was lit. I was in bliss, honestly. I felt good about him. I feel like he felt good about me. And that was like it. I was like, yeah, I don't have time to think or whatever. Like, I don't want to feel like you my man and you ain't. So I straight up asked him, like, you want to be my man? And his response pretty much wasn't, it wasn't like no, it was just like, I need you to be ready for that because my last relationship kind of fucked me. And I'm like, I ain't that bitch. That ain't me. Like, again, um, 18, like freshly 18, y'all. It was nuts. I really thought I was like, I don't know what the fuck I thought I was. Big Bad Harley. I don't know, bro, but it was a time. It was a time. But yeah, I remember again just really focusing on like what I wanted. So I had to kind of make sure that he understood that wasn't who I was. Like, okay, I'm different. Let me show you that I'm different. So I kind of went out of my way to kind of prove myself a little bit to show that I am different from what you're used to. Um, I wouldn't necessarily go out with my friends as often. It was a lot of stuff that, just to really prove to him that I was just different. I'm outside of what you're used to. I'm outside of your norm. This relationship is gonna be different. You and I's vibe is gonna be different. Like we're gonna vibe so great together, and it's just gonna be great. And in the midst of all of that, like It wasn't as if I lost myself. It was more so I really got wrapped up in him. I was more so really just in tune with the things that he was doing. I wanted to make sure that I was always a step behind, if not beside him. Um, he was showing up to me and my friends' stuff. Like, I mean, he paid for all of us. I know people be talking now, in most podcasts, most relational podcasts anyway, where the topic is about relationships and everything else and like the role of a man and all sort of crazy shit that people talk about that they don't got no fucking experience in. Or I ain't gonna say that, but sometimes, more often than not, a lot of folks that they're just talking just to be fucking talking sometimes. But uh, he was definitely one. He was the type that if he was out with me and my friends, then he would pay. And he was just like that. That was just his vibe. Like he would just pay for us. Um, and it's just like, okay, little zaddy, I gotta suck a little extra dick tonight. But I remember really just being in a space of I need to be who it is that you need me to be. Really like a Bob the Builder type of vibe. Like it's like, okay, let me make sure that I am building myself up to be exactly who it is that this man wants me to be. If I want the man, then I need the man. Um, to see me as the person that he wants to be with, right? Because you have so many options. I know the one thing I kind of tell my mentees or anyone that's going off to college, especially like any young ladies that I may encounter, is that there are options. There are options. Like, and it's not to say that you need to kind of like put yourself in a position where you're making decisions. Like I literally just stated, kind of molding yourself to be like this perfect person for a person. No, like I feel like a lot of times like you should really just be who you are. Oftentimes like in my dating experiences, folks will kind of ask me like what it is that I'm looking for and I won't tell them. Like I don't want to tell you because I don't want you to be that. And I know that kind of sounds crazy, but some people who are willing or who are more desperate to kind of get the person will literally do what I did. Like mold yourself. I'm going to construct myself into exactly what it is that you want me to be or what you're looking for so that I am the obvious choice. And that's not a cool place to be because you ultimately like lose who you are. You lose a sense of what the fuck it is that you stand for. Like I lost me. I lost me. I wasn't necessarily going out. I didn't like hang with friends as often. My mom had like an intern at her job, and my friends and I were well known on campus. Like we used to do the dumbest shit. Shout out to y'all, man. We had lots of fun. Like just bored. Like starting slow claps in the calf. We used to sing happy birthday to the same nigga every day. Oh my gosh, like just the most randomest stuff. Um, but a lot of that kind of subsided once I got into a relationship because I wanted to portray myself as a person who could handle his lifestyle, a person who could handle, just being what I needed to be for my relationship at the time. And I lost myself in the middle of molding. So when I often think of like an analogy like that, I often think of like how you take two molds of clay, right? And they're two different colors. So one might be yellow, the other might be blue. And you really start to play with that clay, and the clay itself starts to change. It's no longer the two separate things that you actually started with. Like it's something totally different. Same with like paint or anything, like anything that you mix together that doesn't necessarily need to be mixed, but you do it anyway because that's something that you want to do in that moment. And that's okay too. Like realizing that that was a choice that I made. It wasn't him necessarily saying that I needed to be a certain way or I needed to kind of rise to the occasion um to be what I needed to be for him or whatever. Like he never pressured me in those ways. It was just me and my thinking, me and my trauma response, honestly, to think like, oh, okay, in order to continue or in order to maintain this relationship that I wanted, that I set out for, that I sought after, that I need to be something other than I am. When he fell in love with me, like with just me being me. So I didn't necessarily have to conform to anything else. But then, being young, those are things that you just don't know. Those are things that you're not taught. I haven't seen successful relationships, quite frankly. So it's like, or they weren't in close proximity enough for me to kind of study to know exactly what it is that I need to do to maintain those relationships. But yeah, no. So it was me learning all by myself. And being of age where I am independent and away from home, I had to make those decisions on my own. And I did. I did, but the weight of trying to configure myself, trying to conform, trying to keep up appearances, and trying to keep my man really got a hold of me. Really got a hold of me, and I fell under pressure. Honestly, fell under pressure. Next thing I know, I'm on a dick. That ain't my man's.